Welcome back, guys, to our third video of the day. This is the Affliction Warlock Mage Tower Challenge. If you haven't checked out the other two videos we posted, we have the 8 Mask Run in Stormwind we posted earlier today, and we have the Hard Mode Underpin Fight, which we also posted today. Both are in that narration style gameplay that we've been doing lately. Been having a lot of fun with that, and so we're going to do the same thing here. If you're not familiar with this challenge, the idea here is we got to take out Raced Mage Spear, but his brother gets mind controlled and chases us around. This fight has several phases based on brother's health. First phase, you just get chased by Karam and his brother is untargetable. He'll drop puddles and we just kite him around the perimeter because we don't need to drop puddles in the middle if we don't need to drop puddles in the middle. Once he's at 33%, Race becomes active and Karam becomes inactive. At this point, we blow all of the available damage we have on Race to get him as low as we can. We'll have 30 or 40 seconds to do this, but he'll also be summoning little clumps of adds that we have to run away from. It's not a big deal to take them down. They're actually great to leave up so that we can get more Nightfall procs and just leech healing from dot damage to them. And also not a huge deal to nuke them pretty quickly. So after Karam comes out of his bubble, we'll also have to deal with these hands from beyond that do an explosion cast. You need to interrupt that with your Fell Hunter interrupt or your Sacrifice Fell Hunter interrupt. If that's not available, you can also just try to nuke it before the cast actually goes off. It is pretty slow. And you can also banish them. The cast will continue, but once it completes, you won't see the actual explosion. Then you would unbanish them and take them out. Once we get Karam down to 33% a second time, he will immune again, and then Race becomes active. We'll also start dealing with summoning circles that you need to soak with your body. You can also have a pet do it if you want. I've elected not to use a pet because in the final phase, when Race is the only one active, having a pet can be kind of weird. You can actually cause him to move out of his circle and do an extreme amount of melee damage to you or the pet. I haven't seen that happen in a while, but just force to have it. Also, your pet can get itself murdered by the adds as they do an extreme amount of melee damage. After the second opportunity to burn Raced, Karam will become active again, and at this point he's not going to stop until he dies or his brother dies or you die. And at this point they're both going to be active, so the idea is we'll kite him out as long as we possibly can while depleting Raced's health as low as we can. And then before he gets too fast for us, we'll take him out of the fight completely. The health scaling on the enemies in this challenge varies from spec to spec, but a lot of specs have the option to take Karam out before we finish off his brother. But doing so will enrage Raised. He'll do 5x damage on his Shadow Bolts, which is livable for the most part, but not for a very long period of time. We're going to Curse of Exhaustion him for the most part. That'll get refreshed by Wither up to a certain amount due to the Sacrilash's Dark Strike talent. And you can also Mortal Coil him and Fear him should you need to. Talents are of course linked in the description below. And that's the fight in a nutshell, and we'll just kind of do a little narration as we go. And again, we don't need to interact with Race to any degree. So we'll just kite Karam out and around here and not worrying about too much at any given time. And I wouldn't even slow him right off the bat. Just let him drop these puddles. And we want to keep all of our cooldowns, so I mean we could Haunt, right, because that's a 15-second cooldown, that's fine. But I wouldn't really use any other buttons because we want to have everything up for Karam. Raced, excuse me. I'm going to mix that up a lot, I'll do my best not to. And having a focused Curse of Exhaustion macro is super handy here. You're not going to need to Curse of Exhaustion any of the other adds. And he goes at 33%. I probably should have saved some of my soul shards, but that's also fine. And adds will spawn right away, so we want to make sure that we can have them run over the middle, and then we can get our Vile Taint going. Dot up Raised here. Here's our Vile Taint. And then we just throw everything, Soul Rot, Haunt, Dark Glare, Oblivion. I only got 2 of those adds with that, that's fine. We can also throw a Seed to get a nice little explosion and wither all the adds. Not a big deal if we don't. And we're running. They will not one-shot you, but like 2-shot you, so you just gotta be careful. And 61% is mighty fine. That's totally enough damage. Once we get a new soul shard, we're going to Vile Taint the group. And that'll really do the bulk of what we need. You can see the corruption this. And here's our first hand. Again, you need to kick this with Spell Lock. And if you don't have that available, you can also just banish the hand. The cast will continue, but it'll prevent the explosion from happening at the end of the cast. And then we're going to get race down to 33% again. At which point he'll immune. I'm going to hang on to all my buttons because I just want to have everything up for the main target. We'll actually haunt this. And we kick that via spell lock. We can Vile Taint again. Throw our Curse of Exhaustion back on him. And it does get refreshed, but it's not like an infinite refresh. Alright, we have way more soul shards than we did last time. This is good. Gonna let him bleed out a little bit. And we have to take this hand out, which is upsetting that we didn't time that better, but it's like not a big deal. Right, get me out of here. We're going to get our summon circles coming up pretty soon. So you kind of don't want to kite the adds around here. There it is right there. That's fine. We're going to pop over here. We can even put our Dark Glare right here. And he should soak it for us. Yes, that was pretty clutch. I was wondering if I put him too far outside of the circle. And we have our next hand. The hands will actually stop spawning once you take care of Karam. You could say they stop Karam. Right. And here's our Oblivion, which I'm pretty sure we didn't cast a single other time other than the opener. We can Taint. Nothing around here for the next soak. You know what? We won't even have to take Karam out, but we might as well. And we're just actually going to banish this old boy. Because boss is almost dead. Cast will go off, but he will, you know, not do any damage. Not even sure if that's intentional, and easy peasy. There you go. And as you can see, no special gear or anything. I do have the belt. The belt is in shield mode, which only prevents 700 damage. So it's not super busted or anything. Just my standard gear, same gear we did the last two challenges at. So yeah, that's about it. Just do your best not to kite the adds around this, because this is where most of the summon rings spawn. Take out the adds, take out Karam if you need to, but just kite him around and make sure he's clumped up with those adds. You could probably do a little bit more intentional damage to those adds instead of letting them crawl around the whole time, but you're kiting anyway, so it's a little bit more of the same. A lot of the Mage Tower challenges just have not kept up with time and the amount of talents that we have. These are like, you know, 10 legendaries worth of talents plus every cool talent we've had leading up to that and tier sets and all that stuff. So let me know if you have any questions for this challenge. Check out the Underpin hard mode fight and the Stormwind 8 mask run that we completed, both in the description below, as long as links to the playlist for other horrific visions and other Underpin fights. Been having a good time with this format of content, so I'm going to keep doing it. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you're not yet subscribed. We do a lot of solo challenge content, and I play every class and a little bit of every spec in the game. So let me know what your favorite spec is and what you want to see next, and we'll catch you in the next one. I hope you have a great rest of your day or evening. Peace.